Happy Friday, everybody that comes across this message, that this message meets up with. I pray that when this message finds you, that you are in the best of health, in the best of wealth, and in the best mental space that you could be in today. And I just wanted to do something a little different, sharing a message in this way. So, it's always about trying new things, doing new things. We're not triers, we are doers. Doing new things and moving when you're led to move. So, a lot of us right now are experiencing growth, elevation, mentally, and then the physical, and because what you see in the physical already was in the workings in the spirit realm. And I just wanted to encourage those as I encourage myself, sounding straight churchy, um, to not be afraid, to lean into what is uncomfortable for you right now. Because beyond that discomfort, man, it is opulence, it is luxury, it is freedom. There is expansion beyond that uncomfortable feeling. And I want you to ask yourself, when you sit with yourself, even while you're listening to this message, after taking a few slow, deep breaths, maybe three, however many you feel comfortable with, just that number, I just threw that out there. Ask yourself, we all have a thing in us where the divine is, with our ancestors and just our spirit team. There's something that is pressing us to do or to go. Everybody's path and journey is unique. So, take what resonates out of this message for you and leave what doesn't. You don't try to make it fit for you. But those that come across this message, it's definitely something in here for you. So, if it resonates, I know it will. Like, comment, share the message, subscribe to the YouTube. With all that said, I want to pose a question to you, which is for you to ask yourself, what are you telling yourself about that situation? Meaning, what are you telling yourself? What are you telling yourself why you can't or don't want to go or do what you know is pressing you to go or do? For instance, I know that there are things that, this being one of them, so welcome to my first steps forward. Um, but what is, for me, before I made the decision to be obedient to what I know I was feeling, I sat outside, on a balcony and just, did some deep breathing and just asking myself these internal questions, asking these questions internally, excuse me, because I know I keep getting the signs everywhere to do what I'm doing right now, to go live on TikTok more. And what was I telling myself why I wouldn't go live on TikTok or why I wouldn't do what I'm doing right now? And sometimes we don't realize how, what's the word? Sly or slick, I want to say, the ego is our egos are in keeping us in a what the ego considers a safe space. Because like I said, beyond this uncomfortable feeling, there's greatness on the other side of that. And it's different. So, our ego is a comforter of sorts, but the comfort comes from a place of defense versus operating in love and openness and staying in flow is a comforter, but of offense and seeing the perspective is much different. It's a why not? Why wouldn't we? Why not you? Versus the ego is like, why you? Why you're so awkward? Like these are the things when I did that introspection and was asking these questions internally while I'm doing my deep breathing. Um, it's just like, you're awkward. And as I'm having this conversation with myself, it's like, yeah, I am awkward. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way the ego presents it to you is coming from a place to keep me from taking steps forward. Um, Even questioning, am I low key afraid of what I'm asking for, which is success and growth, and taking these steps and doing what I'm doing right now. On the other side of that, like I said at the beginning, is a whole nother realm that is unimaginable to the version of myself that I am right now, or prior to me making recording this message. So during this time of transition for all of us, I am imploring you to do the uncomfortable things, to have the conversation with yourself and understanding what you're telling yourself on why you're not taking those steps. What is your ego telling you, and how can you communicate with your ego and really breaking down what your ego is telling you, because it's really a difference in tone of voice, if you will. Just like I said for myself, one of the things was that I'm awkward. I mean, everyone has a sense of, awkwardness or whatever. We all have our quirks, but the tone is, oh, you're awkward. That's like, but the loving side, the open, um, the part of me that's open and leading with love and from our heart space says the same thing. Just the tone of voice is different. I am awkward. What's wrong with that? And just doing that and having that conversation with myself is all a part of this process. We just don't realize how subtle, that's the word, not necessarily what I said before about sly, even though that's the words that I was seeing, but the ego is very subtle. And it's like, man, I love you enough to tell you all of the ways you could hurt yourself out there, versus your heart space saying, you're safe. Those things may be out there, but you're safe, and it's okay to take the steps towards, something that feels uncomfortable. So, and pay attention to your body and how your body feels when you are having this conversation, and being able to acknowledge that version of you that is being peeled away. And the same thing, like a person if you look at your ego like a person that does not, you've had a good ride, it's been cool, but I'm gonna get out of this exit. And the person who is not ready to let you go, they're going to do all they can to keep you in the car, to maybe not slow down, not stop, or go a different direction. All of these distractions and things to keep you focused on what they're doing versus that you really want to get out. You really are finished with the ride. And it's just, you know, um, appreciate you for getting me this far. It's cool, but there's other ways to travel. A lot of people say there's a lot of terms that fly around, um, about like your ego death, killing your ego. And one thing I'm learning, I wouldn't even say that I'm learning. One thing that was highlighted in the class that I'm taking is, becoming an ally with your ego, because there was a version of you, there was a version of me that was afraid to spend money. Even though I had a good job, always had good jobs, always, was a supervisor, something that the last job that I had and prior to that. But because of how I was raised and the things that I saw, hardworking people, everybody in my family is hard workers, but everybody is living paycheck to paycheck. And those that aren't necessarily living paycheck to paycheck, they are blowing their money on physical things and not taking care of their bills. So it's just, so when I started working on my money mind, so to speak, that old version of me that was very frugal, very afraid to spend money, always thinking about the things that hadn't happened yet and why I can't spend this money now. When I started to peel that layer of myself off, that version of me was like that anxiety would kick in, and I would put my hand on my heart, because this is the same heart that's been with you since being in the womb. So that old version of you is still there. And I would talk to her and explain to her how then, that was what I felt was necessary then. But we're in a new time now. And it's okay to spend money because money is printed every day. It does grow on trees, just not the physical tree that you can see outside. But if you look at those leaves, like the dollar bills, hundreds, 50s, 20s, 10s, 5s that's being printed at the mint every day, it does grow on trees. But if you're being shaped in a family and in an environment that is telling you the opposite, you don't do better until you know better. So during this time of transition, when you feel that block, majority of the time it's a block that we're putting there, that's being put there by us subconsciously. Speak to yourself. Speak to that old version that may have been more in the shell or more unsure of herself or himself, and just reassure them that it's okay. We're moving forward. I'm holding your hand. We're together. You are safe, but we're taking this next step. And you'll see after a while, when you're paying attention to your body, those emotions don't aren't there for that situation as they were. For me, like I said, it was money. And now, I know that this is something that God is putting on my heart to do, to make myself available, to speak my truth, um, with the intention of encouraging others and uplifting and liberating those that come across these messages. You are right where you're supposed to be. not two steps ahead, not two steps back, not, for me, I've been having this feeling for a while now, and I would find ways to distract myself, but not realizing until I started paying attention that when I have the feeling to record or write this down or whatever, I would pick up the remote or I would pick up my phone like, okay, well, let me just scroll for a few minutes. And we know how that can go. So once I started paying attention to that pattern, then I can call it out. Like, look at you distracting yourself, and put the phone down and do what it is that I felt led to do. So those that come across this message, we are standing in unity together in this faith walk, in this journey of ascension and expansion and leveling up and opening our wings and spreading our wings and existing in a way that we have never existed before, piece by piece. And, also, right. And also, you know, we get used to just a day to day that you forget that you're on this journey, that you answered the call, that you even knew there was a call, because plenty did not. Plenty did not. And for that, big up yourself. Encourage yourself. Write down. You can I used to, when my daughter was younger, take a dry erase marker and write scripture, or at the time I didn't know they were called affirmations, but writing positive messages for yourself, so that you have to look in the mirror when you brush your teeth, when you're getting ready for the day, to be able to speak these affirming words over yourself, and speak into the specific situation that you're experiencing, speaking to the version of yourself that has already overcome that. Like, for me, I am an abundant being. I am abundance. Like, I'm literally embody abundance. And abundance isn't always and rarely is about physical cash. It's about what your outlook is on the world, which is a reflection of who you are inside. Are you a complainer, or do you understand that everything has to happen in its time? It has to happen this way. It had to happen that way. Oh, it's a rainy day. I don't, people, a lot of times, me included at a point, saw the rain as like, ugh. But without the rain, without water, how do you clean yourself? Without the rain, how does the flowers blossom? How does produce grow? Water is a cleansing, washing away, to like a death and rebirth. It rinses things down, washes stuff away, makes you or environments like new. Speak those words over yourself. I am in line with the universe. I am in flow with the universe. I do travel the path of least resistance. It's important to speak, even if you don't feel that that's where you are at the moment, but that's where you're headed. That is in you. You're speaking it until you can see it, because it's in you. It's a part of you. Whatever you see, whatever you can imagine, is a reality already. It's just the patience that's needed for that reality to for that for that spiritual reality to come into this physical reality, which takes time. And during that takes time portion of the journey, a lot of people turn back. A lot of people don't even make it into the quote unquote promised land because that it takes time portion can feel like a long time. But what even is time? It's definitely what you make it. You definitely can speed it up or slow it down. But if you're in the moment and where your feet are, time is not even something that you're always concerned about. So, with that being said, all of that being said, let me encourage you to do the uncomfortable thing, to take a step over that what is like a spiritual boundary that you have put up, that your ego has put in place, wanting to protect you from this unknown. Talk to your ego. Let your ego know, hey, we're doing this, we're growing. This is great. Trust me. Trust the process. Trust the Most High. And take that step. And let me know in the comments what that uncomfortableness is for you. Are you being led to go to move out of your hometown, to quit your job, to take on children that aren't yours? That's very specific. To take on children that aren't yours, what do you feel like the next step is that you might feel you're not equipped for? That's the very thing that you have to run towards. Here I am running, 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 I'm running, running. You are loved here, and I appreciate your interaction. I appreciate your presence. Hit that like button just to leave your essence here with us. And let's have a conversation in the comments of what that uncomfortable space is for you. Where is God calling you? Where's the Most High calling you to that you feel you're not equipped for? Because we're doing that thing. Until next time, enjoy this Friday. Treat yourself to a water ice, to your favorite bag of chips, to a new bag, to your nails being done, your eyebrows being done, to a nice shape up, to treat yourself. And don't worry about that it's 20 cents less than another choice. It's okay. What you spend comes right back in. Trust me when I tell you. I said it before and I say it again. You are loved here. And I appreciate you. Until next time.